All right, welcome back for another movie review. I'm Brandon Reines,
I'm Faizel Moment.
and today we're going to be reviewing The Crow. It's one of my favorite movies. It inspired me when I was a kid when it came out. I love the comic book, I love the soundtrack, I love the movie. Next time we'll be talking about the sequel, and I think that will be a very different discussion than this one. But
Oh
for now, we're
man.
sticking with the good one.
Oof. Yeah, what can you say about this movie, man? Like I've watched it a million times. I almost didn't need to rewatch it like for this thing. Like I just knew it like beat by beat. Let me ask you about the comics, because I tried to read the comics a bit after I watched the movie. I tried to read the comics, but I found it was the same story over and over and over again in different animation style or different drawing styles, and like there wasn't any. But I don't know if I was because I was getting bootleg comics. I was just downloading them off the web and like reading what I had access to. So I don't know if I was just getting like shitty bootleg comics. But did they ever like go past just this original story that
Oh
they
yeah,
did?
there's been
Oh,
like there was the original James O'Barr graphic
yep,
novel,
yep, yep,
and
yep.
he drew it all. Like his style kind of changed a lot. So within his own drawings, his style changes. But after that, there's been like there to this day, there's still Crow comics coming out. Like it's always like a different person's the Crow. There's been like female crows. There's like a little kid crow. It's just different stories in like a limited series, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. That original one though is what the movie is mostly based on, even though like it's kind of like a lot of the beats are there, but the movie is very different. It just
Yeah.
kind of like it's
Well,
heavily
it's way more
inspired by
toned
it.
down, which is hard to believe. Which is hard to believe, but like it's way more toned down than the comic book. Like the movie is like more digestible version of the comic book because the comic book
Yeah,
is
and the
hard.
movie it follows more of a movie storyline. Like the
Yeah.
comic kind of just the story kind of goes from here to there. There's not like
Yeah,
one
it just
narrative
kind of
arc.
happens.
Yeah, it's like something will happen and then that part of the story's done and like Officer Albrecht, like the cop who plays the main character in the movie, I think he's in like one scene or like one page or something in the comic, like he's not a main character. Same with the
Mhm.
little girl. Little girl's like in the comic a little bit,
Oh
but
yeah,
in the
she's
movie
like
she's main
she
character.
she's not even in the beginning or any like oh wait, does no, she does know the girl Eric Draven's uh girlfriend. She does know him in the comic. She does know her in the
I don't think in the comic she does.
Is
I
she the daughter of like a waitress who's hooking up with Fun Boy?
That's the movie. In the comic, she's just a little girl that's sitting. I think the crow goes in, kills a bunch of guys in a building, and then he's coming out, and the little girl's like sitting on the steps, and he talks with her a bit, and then leaves. I
Okay.
don't think she's tied into the story. It's been like a long time since I read it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. In the movie, it's like yeah, her mom is like Fun Boy's girlfriend or whatever, whatever
Right.
that
I
relationship
think
is.
they retconned it in one of the comics that I read at one point because like I do remember then Fun Boy kind of looking like Iggy Pop.
Yeah, maybe yeah, maybe it was a different comic or something, but yeah, they
Yeah.
did change a lot, and even like in the comic, the T-Bird was like the head bad guy, but in the movie, T-Bird looked like Tintin. In the movie, Tintin was the black dude with the long dreads.
Right, right, right.
The guy in the comic that looked like that was T-Bird, but in the movie, T-Bird was the different guy who was like driving the car. So it's like,
You gotta wonder what the choice behind it seems like such a dumb thing to switch up. Like
yeah,
what
I don't know. I think they just yeah, I don't know why. I think they probably had Lawrence Mason, that actor, as T-Bird, but then they're like, actually, we found a different guy we want as T-Bird. Let's just change his name to Tintin. And then, but in the comic, Tintin was like a different guy. And then it's like it's kind of confusing. But I'll say flat out that the movie is better. Like the movie took the best elements of the comic and made it into like a logical story, and it's just better. But yeah, so
the
yeah, tell me
comic
what
is
do you think about the
dark,
movie?
the origins of the comic. Oh, I just want to mention that. Did you know the origins of the comic a little bit?
Yeah. Tell people.
Well, it's based on like most of besides the actual supernatural elements, most of it is based on like Eric Draven's own personal history, right? I think he was in the military and he was back from the military. For some reason I'm thinking Vietnam, but that seems about right. And he was driving around and then him and his girlfriend were pulled over while they were driving by a gang, like by a bunch of bikers or something, and they murdered his girlfriend and he dealt with the depression of that for a long time, and I guess he processed that into The Crow. Am I right?
Close, kind of close. I think you're combining stories, but James O'Barr is the guy that created The Crow
Yep,
and
yep,
written
yep.
wrote you the comic. He yeah, maybe he was in the military, but his girlfriend was killed by a drunk driver. And
Right.
he
Okay.
was like depressed over that, and he wanted some way to channel it, so he came up with this comic. And he read a story in the news about this couple whose car had broken down on the highway, and then just some thugs or some guys came and killed them. And he just thought that's a horrific story, so he used that as the basis for the comic. Is that that's how Eric Draven's character and his girlfriend are killed, and then he comes back from the dead to fight. And then it got turned into a movie where they basically scrapped that whole story and they changed it to the gang was trying to kick him out of their apartment, and that kind of led to them getting murdered. So the story was changed. But yeah, it did come from like personal trauma in James O'Barr's life, and it's kind of funny because like I grew up like I saw that the movie came out. I was like 13. I was like
Uh-huh.
so into it. Me and all the guys in high school were like so into this movie, and I idolized James O'Barr. I was big into comics. I wanted to be a comic book artist. I made my own comics, and I always looked at James O'Barr as a guy that did his own thing and made it famous.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I got to
yeah.
meet him at the Calgary Expo,
Oh, no way.
and like he couldn't have been more bored with the whole thing,
I
you
was
know?
gonna say, was he kind of a prick? Because he seems like he'd be a little bit of a prick.
Yeah, he just
I
I
say
wouldn't say
that's
he's a prick.
sad.
He just like his some woman was there, I'm assuming his wife, and she was the one that was like, "Oh, $20 for a picture or whatever, and here's this thing you can get signed." And so she was kind of dealing with it, and he's just sitting there kind of looking around like he's bored, and he signed
Interested.
it, and I was like, "Damn, man, don't meet your heroes," because
I guess,
turns
huh?
out he's a guy just like me.
He's just trying to make another buck.
Yeah, he's just like, "Man, I wrote a comic and whatever, now I'm famous, so yeah, whatever." And
Man,
um
that's gotta suck to like.
I won't hold it against him. The movie's
No,
still
no, no.
good.
I wouldn't hold it against him. I'm just saying that's gotta suck to be alienated from your art in such a degree where you're like, yeah, fuck it, man. This was a big trauma that I had to process and deal with, and I cried for days. But like, $20 for an autograph.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way,
Bill
but it
Skarsgård's playing them in the new remake. He's playing it. Did you see him? He's Bill Skarsgård.
yeah, I wonder what he thinks about that. But it's
I mean, I'm sure he thinks the check is pretty nice.
yeah, that's it too. And I think honestly, that's probably like if that woman was his wife, she's probably like, "Look, we make a living off of this thing, so let's pretend that we're into this, right? Let's
We're
sell
here and
autographs
we're
because we need to,
excited.
we need to pay for the house." And
The
so I
whole time
can't
he's
blame him
just like,
for
I
it.
wrote a new comic book. Nobody read it.
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from, but then again, like he doesn't see it from our point of view. To him, it's just something he made when he was young. But it's
Yes.
like for me, it was an important part of my life. It's like music,
Well,
right?
listen,
Like some musicians, like whatever, I play guitar, but it's like, no, man, your guitar inspired me to do something with my life. Like you're a big deal to me. But of course, the guitar player's like, what the hell's wrong with you? You're just some guy I don't know. So it's
well, I
kind of
think
like,
it was probably a big part of his life, but I wonder if it's just one of those things where you're like, because it was built out of a trauma that he experienced, but I wonder if it's just one of those things that like 15, 20, 30 years down the line, it's been through so many producers' hands and so many different people's hands, and it's no longer your thing.
yeah,
It's like public IP, it's intellectual property now, and you're just kind of like, fuck it, man. Is
yeah.
this even the thing that I started with?
I guarantee that's what probably how George Lucas feels about Star Wars. He's like, yeah, it made
Yeah.
me wealthy, but it's not my thing anymore, and it kind of sucks
It's
now.
there.
It's
It belongs
it's
to them. Not it's
yeah.
not mine.
Just like right now, it's like, yeah, grotesque is, it's kind of my thing. And it's like one day if it's like I sell it and then it's like,
Then
it's
you
just
get
like,
like Steven Spielberg making like the grotesque reboot, the gritty grotesque
yeah,
reboot.
and it's just like, no, what are you doing with it? I think because I think with James O'Barr, I'm pretty sure like they sold the movie rights before the comic was finished. Because
Oh yeah.
he made it I think he started in like 1984 and it was finished in like 1991 or something, so it took him like a long time to finish the graphic novel, and in that time they bought someone bought the movie rights,
Huge. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh wow.
and
Okay.
then it might have even been before it was finished. I can't remember the whole story. So basically this isn't something that like he had on his own for like 20 years and then made a movie. It was like the second it was done, it was like out of his hands and became this big cultural phenomenon. And then, of course,
Yeah.
more trauma because the main actor, Bruce Lee's son, was killed on set. So it's like, oh shit, even more tragedy. It's like,
Yeah. Just like the blood of everybody is on my hands.
yeah. So, um, But it's like when it comes, and it's kind of nice because I was watching can't remember her name, but a female movie reviewer, and she's super young, like early 20s, and she says The
Mhm.
Crow is her favorite film of all time.
Oh, that movie's
So
gonna be around
yeah,
forever. That
it's still
movie never
inspiring.
ends.
'Cause I thought it's not. I wouldn't say it's dated. It's like it's very goth. It's very that era,
Inspired in that era almost.
but it's still like it's something that it's timeless, right? So like there's going to be a group of people of every generation that watch it and be like, "Holy shit, that's incredible."
Would you say it's the director Alex Proyas's greatest, best movie?
Oh,
Because he did
absolutely. I haven't seen all of his, but absolutely.
Dark
Like,
City. He did Dark City.
yeah,
He did
no, it was
I,
okay.
Robot.
Yeah,
He did that terrible Gods of Egypt movie.
yeah. Like they might have had bigger budgets than The Crow, but like they're like it's untouchable.
Yeah, no, the Crow I think stands out. Dark City is okay. Dark City comes close,
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't go that far, but it's good.
but the
Um,
Crow is his best movie.
yeah, like it's like by far, yeah. Um, I think it's just one of those things. I think they trapped lightning in a bottle, right? It was at the right time, the right
The right
music, the
actor, the
right
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 people.
actor. It could have gone, which is funny because I read this even after I saw the movie, I read
Uh-huh.
the original script, and some of it was the same, some was different. And honestly, the script was pretty bad. I'm like, this is like bad writing. This is like insultingly stupid dialogue for a lot of it, but somehow they rewrote it or they cut those scenes and somehow what they were left with is absolutely epic.
Gold.
So it's like they whatever decisions because usually it's the opposite. Usually they start with something kind of good and then slowly ruin it over the course of production. With this one, it's like they whatever they did, it worked. And they just I think part of it too was like other than Brandon Lee, and even he wasn't that famous. I don't think he was as famous as his dad.
No, no,
Um,
no. He was in like Laser Quest. We mentioned that last time.
Yeah,
Like he
he
was in
done a
like
few
nobody.
martial arts movies, but he wasn't like legendary. And all
No,
the
no.
other actors were they were like character actors.
Ernie
Um,
Hudson is the biggest guy
yeah,
in
oh
there.
yeah, Ernie Hudson, he'd be the only one that people would know from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, it's like I don't usually the only place they know them is this movie. But I heard that they purposely they were more they didn't want to cast big names. They cast every role with a person that had a certain look. It's like they wanted someone that just has like a striking look to them.
They
And
do
if you
have a
think
lot of
about it, like they had like a
yeah.
collection of the weirdest looking, I mean, not all weird, but like they
No, no,
all
no, but they have very distinct
very
looks
distinct
to them.
voices, very distinct looks. Um,
Mannerisms.
yeah, like they're like those that gang of bad guys is like probably the best. Yeah,
The
they're
swallowing of the
probably
bullet.
just the best collection of I don't know scumbag gang members.
Oh man, I want to drink with those guys. I want to like
Yeah,
hang out with them and like have a like they seem like a fun group of guys
they're just
besides
like they're so intense and they're like it's and it's just kind of funny too, just the way it's structured because you got Top Dollar who's the head guy, and he's like a drug addict kind of guy too, but he
oh
has
my
some
God,
business
he's
sense, right?
so weird.
He has like enough sense to like run this empire. Whereas the guys working for him, they're just complete freaks, like just off the wall.
Psychopaths.
But he's able to, boss them around and keep them under control, so they'll
And
work
this is
for him.
the craziest one. That's like, yeah, I'm assuming he's probably like the nuttiest one out of all of them, and that's
But
how
even
he gets
but
control.
he kind of looks down on Skank, right? They're trying to talk to him, and it's like, should we videotape this and play it back on slow motion? And then he finally like slaps Skank because he's just talking too much. So you can tell that he's kind of the same. Like he's a drug addict too, but he has enough sense to like keep himself together and not just be a complete nutcase.
Complete like yeah, like degenerate.
And even if you look at the four guys, T-Bird, Tintin, Skank, and who's the other guy?
Fun boy.
Fun Boy. They are very different too. It's just like how do these guys become friends? It doesn't seem like
It seems even in the comic books, they're like the least likely group of friends.
yeah, it's like they're kind of like different sides of the same coin. They have some similarities, but you can even tell, the part where they're doing shots and swallowing bullets, and all of a
Yep.
sudden it just leads to a fight where they're like about to
Devil's
shoot each
Night,
other.
Devil's Night, Devil's Night. Do you think I never looked into this too much, but do you remember Eminem's group D12?
No.
They had an album called Devil's Night, and I was always like, for some reason, I does this movie take place in Detroit, or does
Yes.
it look, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I always assumed that that was from the movie is where they took that from, which is like,
It could be, but I remember like at the time, like Devil's Night was a real thing.
was
Like,
it really?
yeah, like there was like every year the day it was the day before Halloween, like in Detroit, it'd be like massive fires.
I didn't
And
know that.
and I'm because I remember when it came out, like I remember hearing that in the news and I was like a little kid. And then when the movie came out, it was either that year or the year after. I think it was the last year it happened. Like
Huh.
it just finally it just like okay, they're gonna
They're
have the
like, guys,
police go
this
out
is
in
a movie
force
now. We
and
gotta cut this out.
yeah, just yeah, it eventually stopped. But right at that time, it's like yeah, that was a real thing, and they just it was I think it was just random people out causing fires. But here they made it look like it was some kind of organized crime
Coordinated
thing.
thing. Interesting.
But yeah, it just seems like yeah, those like the bad guys, like they work together, they kind of hang out together because they have no one else. But they're just so quick, like they'd kill each other in a second if they had to because they're just like heartless psychopaths basically.
Ah,
And even when Tintin, the first guy, gets killed, it's like they don't really care that much. They're just like, yeah, whatever, our buddy's dead. Let's carry on with the world. They're just like so heartless, and it's I think it just shows that like because they have all the the love stuff between Eric and his girlfriend, so it's like
mhm.
they're like the real people that have this like love between them. But everyone else, like it's like the city's degenerated so much that everyone is just
Everybody just running wild.
yeah, there's just like there's no care, and it's like a building blows up, and then like 2 minutes later, it's being looted, and one of the guys looting it, that the guy you see holding the TV, that's actually James O'Barr. He's got a cameo in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Definitely nothing like Detroit today. Not even at all.
yeah. It's like a mythical version of Detroit. Like if you
Yeah.
just looked at it, you wouldn't recognize it because the like the when you see the city, it's like a miniature model set, and it's not Detroit. It's just like whatever they made up, but they call it Detroit, so it's like a fake version of Detroit.
Well, yeah, like some of those rooftop scenes, they're pretty cool looking, but you can tell it's like a set backdrop or something. It's
Yeah.
like a back lot somewhere.
Yeah, so and it looks good. Like some people criticize this movie for like having more style over substance, but I think it has a lot of substance. It's really
Yes.
friggin' cool, but it is a lot of style. Like it's just
But
cool
it
looking.
that still doesn't disqualify it as a good movie, I don't think. Like
No,
just because it has style, like more style than it has substance, doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It just means that it's a movie that prioritizes like style. And god damn it, does it ever get style right?
yeah,
Like
like it just like every like the costumes, like the way everything looks, like even like the pawn shop, just like everything about it is just so well done. But it's like every line of dialogue is like cool. Just like everything that happens, it's either like funny or just like cool. It's a kind of thing like it's going to appeal to like a 13-year-old boy. This like this is the best movie ever. And even now it appeals to me years later because it's like the music in it is so good and like just
the
like
soundtrack is top tier. Like the
oh,
soundtrack
like
is
yeah,
the
best
best
probably
jam.
best soundtrack, or at least my favorite of any movie, I'd say.
Yeah,
Um,
it's high up there for me. Should we run down the plot real quick for someone who hasn't seen this movie 6 million times like I have?
yeah, do it.
So Eric Draven is a rock star an emerging rock star, and him and his lovely wife, I forget her name right now,
Shelley.
Shelley are going to get married, and there's this weird orphan urchin single mother child that hangs out um, with them, and the thugs come to extort rent money from Shelley and Eric, and they're like, "No, we're not going to pay you this rent money. Get out of here." And they're like, "We'll be back." And then while Eric is out, I think, is it while Eric is out, or do they knock him out? And I forget
He
now.
he comes home to find his girlfriend being attacked,
Yes,
and yeah,
and they like kill him. They kill his girlfriend. They toss him out of the rooftop window, and like that's it. The thugs rule Detroit, and Ernie Hudson is like, "Damn it, this city will never clean up." And then there's a they do a quick rundown in the movie of like whenever someone dies, a crow. I mix it up now with like the other movies too, but it is like a little like the crow comes around and he'll like guide the spirit when they want vengeance or whatever.
yeah.
And so,
If the person dies in some sort of tragedy that's like basically someone needs to be punished for it, right? It's
Yes,
like
the crow comes back
the
to
crow
life.
will take them back to life, so they'll come back to life a year later, and their only job is to find the people that killed you and kill them to get justice.
And so Brandon Lee comes back from the dead and he is out to get justice against the crew that killed his girlfriend and him, and against Top Dollar, against all these guys that have made the city of Detroit corrupted.
Now, what a lot of people don't realize, and I didn't realize, I've seen this movie like 200 times. I just found out recently, reading about it, is that they cut quite a bit out of the movie. They shot some stuff with like the Skull Cowboy who was in the
Right,
comics.
with Michael Berryman.
Yeah, they cut that stuff out because originally the story was that while Eric is there, he's only allowed to go and like hunt down and kill the guys that killed him. If he goes off course, he loses his powers. So he can't just go and live a normal life. And if he
Right,
starts to
right.
stray, because he starts talking to the little kid and doing other stuff, and it's like, get back on track. You got to kill the guys. So basically, that's why that big scene with the big shootout with Top Dollar and all the gangsters, uh, the Crow's like, I just want him to like with Skank because he's like,
Uh-huh.
that's the guy I got to kill. Like, nothing personal against
Got it.
you. I just got to
Okay.
kill
I
him.
don't, yeah, he's the,
Um,
I'm after him.
but then after that scene is when Top Dollar kidnaps the little girl. And then Eric, he's technically supposed to be done. It's like, hey, you killed the four guys, you're going back to heaven or whatever. But he runs off to go save the little girl. And in doing that, he's off mission, which means, okay, now you lose your powers. You're just a regular man. Which is why when he goes in and gets shot by Top Dollar, he's injured and he can die. But they cut everything out, but then they're like, oh shit, what's the reason for losing his powers?
The
So they
crow.
added the part in there, like, how about we make it that the crow is the source of the powers and we have the guy shoot the crow, the bird, and then that makes him lose the power.
So were those insert scenes that they filmed after the
Just
fact?
that little bit. It must have been.
I
However,
gotta go back and watch it with that in mind.
remember the crow has his powers back because he touches after he gets stabbed by Top Dollar. He puts his hands on Top Dollar's head and gives him the pain of all the memories that his injured wife went through.
Right,
But
right,
the
right.
reason that that happened is because Top Dollar admits I'm the one that sent those goons to your house. And in doing
Right,
that, all of
so
a
he
sudden
can
it's like,
kill him.
oh, now this guy needs to be punished, which means you're now back on track, which means you get your powers back. So he
The
got his
crow
powers back
understands organized crime now.
just enough to kill Top Dollar. So all that makes way more sense if you go back with the original stuff before they cut it out. But I'm kind of glad they cut out a lot of that stuff because it would have just been a bit too convoluted.
I guess yeah, the beauty of this movie is how simple it keeps it. Like it gives you the premise, it gives you a setup, and it's like that's all you need to know. He's out
Yeah.
to get revenge. Now the rest of it is like watch him get revenge in cool different ways. The pawn shop
Unlike,
scene is still one of my favorite scenes of all time. Like
what's that?
it's
Which scene?
the pawn shop scene, like the pawn shop
Oh, yeah.
owner, the actor who plays the pawn shop owner is such a scumbag. He's so like, get out of here, you fuck.
Yeah, like that guy is like, yeah, he's a good actor. He was in Big Lebowski. Like he's
Yes,
a
yes, he was.
yeah, he's a good actor. But yeah, that guy was just, and then it just kind of shows that like Eric is like he's like the nice normal guy, and everyone else is like just the
It's
scum of the
like
earth in this world.
caricature of like, yeah, the scum.
Um, yeah, and that's what we'll get into next time. We'll get into the new one. But what was great about this movie is they didn't that all that setup we told you about. That was only just told in a few flashbacks that were very very quick.
Yes,
They basically started the movie
like
with Eric's
15
dead,
minutes.
fast forward a year. So like within 2 minutes, Eric is coming back from the dead. They got right into it. They didn't waste the first act of the movie setting up the story, which is like perfect. And too many movies do that nowadays, including the Crow remake, which
Oh,
I I,
really?
I can't wait to
Yeah,
rip into that one. But
the setup for the original Crow was just they 15 minutes or like I don't even think it was 15 minutes, like 10 minutes or something,
yeah,
and then we get right into the story.
it might have been less than that, but yeah, they get right into it. And then it's kind of like, okay, we'll just show you a few flashbacks, and then you'll get the point of what happened. And I still don't quite get it. It's just like, yeah, they're being kicked out of their apartment or something. They don't need to explain it. It's like
Bad guys are bad
the
guys.
bad guys had some reason they were doing some sort of real estate scam or
They don't
something.
need a reason. They're bad guys. They're being bad guys. I
Yeah.
get it. All right,
Um,
everything's dark. Like they do so well with establishing things visually. Like the way they open Detroit and with the rain coming down and all that, and like they it establishes it so well without having to say a word.
Yeah, it's yeah, like everything is established, and you don't like you see off Officer Albrecht, Ernie Hudson, you see him at his house a bit, but the other guys like you don't really see. You only see them doing their gangster stuff, right? Like they don't build the
You know,
characters. If they built
it
the characters more, it would have been a worse movie. They just leave you
would have been a
wanting
longer
more.
movie. It wouldn't have been as fun. It wouldn't have been, yeah, you're right. It would have been a worse movie if they had like give fleshed out the characters. In some movies, you need to flesh out the characters. For these ones, they're bad guys. They
Yeah,
are doing bad guy things.
and you can develop a character more just by showing them doing stuff rather than kind of like stopping the story to explain where they came from and their motivations. You want to leave
Yep.
people wanting more. It's like, here's this interesting guy doing stuff, and you're like, whoa, like why is he like this? Where does he come from? Where does he live? Is he married?
Leave
Does he
them
have
wanting
kids?
more.
You want people wanting to know more. Once you tell them everything, then they're bored of the character and it doesn't work. Like this
Agree.
movie, like I would love to see those bad guys in other movies. I want to know I would love to see a top dollar solo story, but I don't I hope they never do. Like I want to want it,
A
but I don't want it to
crow,
be made. If they
a
made it,
crow
it would
cinematic universe.
yeah, if they ever did that, like it would absolutely ruin it. Just leave it as it is and the movie will remain legendary.
Do you think they're gonna like? I've been waiting for them to remake like the lesser known. So obviously they remade The Crow. Like I wonder if they'll try to hit up Spawn next and like all the like
Yeah.
old
They've been talking about a
IPs.
Spawn remake for 20 friggin' years. Like apparently it's
Have
getting
they?
close or something, but
It's always
it's
gonna get
it's
close.
like whatever. They make another one. I don't care. It might be good. But it's like the Crow. Yeah, we'll get into it next time with the Crow remake. I might sit through it again,
A
but or I could just spend the next week working on my rant of how much I hate that movie.
40 coming soon. A 40-minute rant from Brandon about how much
No,
he hates
maybe I'll watch it again and I'll try to be open-minded, but goddamn.
it. Well,
Um,
all right, I'm gonna get into it too then, and I'll watch it and like maybe I'll love it.
yeah, feel free to disagree with me.
We'll see. We'll see what it's like.
Yeah, but I would say it's not all bad. There's a few you'll probably know what I'm talking about. There's one like super cool part. You'll probably be like, okay, this is what Brandon was talking about. Um, but yeah, The Crow, like yeah, it's and the sequels were in my opinion, got progressively worse to the point where they were horrible.
So I don't
Um,
think like you can rate this movie per se, because like at least for me, I don't think I can give it a rating out of 10. It's so tied into like how I grew up and like how
yeah.
much I was like I would give it a 10, which is not fair because it's just biased. Like I just love this movie so much. So
Yeah, like yeah,
it's an
I'd
S
almost give it
tier
to be
movie.
like the only movie I'd give it 10 to, but it's not my favorite movie. That's the
No,
thing.
no, it's an S tier movie. It's one that you can't like rate
Yeah.
just because it's so tied into everything.
Like I think The Godfather's better. I think Heat's better. Clockwork Orange might be better. But it's still like absolutely like for what it is, like it's one of the first like really good comic book movies. It just doesn't get
It
that
really
credit.
is.
Yeah.
You're right. It really, really is.
Like people say Blade was the first one, and it's I mean it's kind of true too, but
It was all right, but like, yeah, this one is the one that was like cool.
and it was indie. Like that was at the time, like it wasn't Marvel or DC or even Image. It was
Dark
like
Horse.
it was completely well, I don't think it was Dark Horse at the time. It was
No?
Kitchen Sink Press. But even they bought, I think before that it was nothing. It was just what James O'Barr made. And then he sold it to Kitchen Sink and then I think Dark Horse publishes the new Crow comics, but I can't say for sure. I don't know that story, but anyway, it's definitely indie, an indie comic book movie.
It's one of those ones that like, and like, I like some of the sequels. I definitely remember liking City of Angels a lot, but like, they can't seem to get it as right as they did the first one.
It's like they're trying to capture that essence again, and it just
You gotta
doesn't
do
quite
something
work.
different. It's not working.
Yeah, the second one that was pretty good. The third one, they tried something. Like the third one was like a guy who was wrongly executed for a crime, and he comes back. It's like okay, interesting premise, and then it just wasn't very good. And then the fourth one, I think, was like complete mess. It just didn't. It just
And the fourth one, the one with Tara Reid, it was like Western set,
yeah, and it like set in the desert, and it had the kid from Terminator 2, I think, was in it.
right? I was, yeah, it was
Yeah,
okay. Didn't
yeah.
mind it so much. It was fine.
I hated it. But yeah. So, anyways, yeah, wonderful movie. Definitely check it out, everyone, if you haven't already. And then next time we'll be back to talk about the Crow remake.
2024.
All
Bill Skarsgård will be here.
right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.